Welcome to this special bonus episode of the Passive House podcast. I'm Zach Semke, Director of Passive House Accelerator, and we're pleased to be sharing a series of bonus episodes recorded at the International Passive House Conference 2023 in Wiesbaden, Germany. These interviews were made possible by support from Icon Windows and Doors, Inotech Windows and Doors, Intelligent Membranes, Minitaire, and Proclima. Please enjoy this bonus episode.
One of the great things about being at the International Passive House Conference is getting to chat with some of the amazing staff from the Passive House Institute. And one of those people is Dragos-Ionut Arnautu, who has been around the Passive House scene for quite some time. And I took the opportunity to catch up with Dragos between sessions and get a little bit of his backstory. So here's my chat with Dragos. I started out asking him how he got into Passive House.
So I'm an architect. I studied in Romania, finished my studies there, and started my own company.
Yep.
And at one point in time, quite recently, after finishing my studies, I realized that something is wrong with what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I could not feel so compelled or satisfied or excited about my job anymore because everything was on the fast lane, cheap,
Right.
and quality-wise, very bad. Nobody was actually interested in sustainability, which was a subject of interest for me.
Yeah.
And then I started my PhD studies in Romania with a funny question, and a naive one at that time was my topic was the relationship between architectural geometry and energy consumption. So in which way...
Geometry and consumption.
And consumption. In
Right.
which way building geometry influences the energy consumptions and the energy fluxes in a building. So at that time, at least in Romania, there was not so much knowledge about this topic, but slowly and surely through my research, I stumbled upon passive houses and got completely involved and fell in love with the concept.
Yeah.
And it kind of resonated with me. And I actively looked for a way to come to Germany to experience more. So
Right.
I had the possibility to apply for a scholarship from the German Federation for Environmental Federation, is the Deutsche Bundesstiftung Umwelt. And I got a scholarship, and they asked me practically where would you like to go
Right.
and research these topics with the aim of bringing this research back to Romania. This is
Right.
an initiative of the German government, which is awesome, amazing in my opinion,
Yeah.
for Eastern European countries. So
Right.
my first on my list was the Passive House Institute.
Yeah.
Not being sure that I will be accepted or not knowing the protocols behind it. And I was lucky enough to be accepted. And I started my work at the PHI as a student, research student, in 2012.
So had you finished your PhD, or was that part of your PhD?
That was part of my PhD.
Right.
Which I freezed
Oh,
after
right.
coming to Germany and realizing that my gap knowledge was so big between the level, the discussion level in Germany and what I knew. And I realized, okay, first of all, I need to come to a level of understanding and deepness of theoretical understanding and practical knowledge in order to write something worthy. So I kind of put it on the back burner and concentrated on, first of all, learning German.
Yeah.
and then soaking as much information as possible from this wonderful group of people that were back then not so many.
Right. Yeah.
In the Passive House Institute, working there.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to get involved in a lot of cool projects, and what I really liked was the questions. One of the main questions that I received when I got there was, "Would you like to do your research and we can help you go through it.
Yeah.
Here is our archive with all of our proceedings and everything.
Wow.
Feel free to go through them.
Yeah.
Most of them in German, anyways.
Yeah.
Or option 2 would have been to get more actively involved in what they were doing and seeing projects, helping them work on real projects. And that, as coming from a background of architecture, resonated with me more. So I took option B, which is why the PhD came to a halt, so to say.
Did you think that question of geometry and energy efficiency had kind of already been answered with Passive House?
Yeah. I realized that soon enough that that Passive House and the Passive House methodology of addressing energy efficiency already dealt with that, and the question was answered.
Right.
So we can have the totally passive approach of looking at a building, and there are so many good books written in this direction. One of them, which is a reference for me, is The Sun, Wind and Light, written by Mark D.K., I think. And it's already to the 2nd or 3rd edition now. It's a very hefty book, explaining in an architectural manner how does daylighting work, shading, what happens with green vegetation, positioning of the building, orientation, compactness, and the consequences of our design decisions as architects. So taking that part and combining it with calculation and details and of course the active part of a ventilation system and this started to make a lot of sense, and I could have written a PhD for the Romanian climate and just say personalize it for them. But due to the fact that slowly but surely, after I came to the Institute, I had the opportunity to start working on Romanian projects and disseminating information in the pioneering work that was going on there on the Passive House level.
And there's some quite good work going on in Romania. It's pretty good uptake.
Things are happening now, and we have, in the meantime, a critical mass of around 20 projects, built projects, 2 of which are office buildings, so a slow upscale. And in the works, there are around 60 projects going on. So one of them is a clinic. So we are happy that the distance, the gap between Western Europe and Romania is getting smaller and smaller.
So you think that level is enough of a critical mass? You said it's like 20 or so projects.
By size, Romania is not a big country. So if you are interested to experience a Passive House, you can now do it. So I can hop in the car. Well, I'm living in Germany, but if somebody would have this interest, they would actually easily get access to it, because the people that have built them are so excited to share the knowledge. And this excitement I am finding also at these events like the Passive House conference where we are now. So it's the same type of exuberance.
What's the population in Romania?
18 million. 18 million. But 18.
And so what's your role now? Now you've been, it's over 10 years at the Institute. What are you mostly doing?
So now I'm wearing several hats, as many of my colleagues are, because when you are trying to bridge the gap between research and implementation or in industry, you need to work with different industries. So I am consulting on Passive House projects. This is one of my main topics right now on projects worldwide, from Australia, New Zealand, New York, China, Romania, of course. So everywhere where there are interesting projects that spark the attention of our institute, we take on this challenge, and I am not doing that by myself.
No,
because I have the opportunity to knock on the next door and find the answers to questions.
In the office.
Which
I think that's an important point about the role of the Institute in consulting. So you're not just the arbiter and the certifier, but you're actually out giving assistance and helping with projects. Is there any conflict there? Does that cause any issues with giving advice on a project that you're potentially going to then be responsible for certifying?
So according to our regulations, the Passive House Institute is the only entity that is allowed to consult and certify in the same project.
Right.
So other certifiers can only wear one hat per project, so to say. But due to our long-standing statement for energy efficiency and, so to say, credo, modus operando, we take this approach for projects in developing countries for new types of buildings, where practically nobody has tried that before. So,
so it's a way of giving a leg up to getting things going.
Exactly. So it's kind of impossible for somebody in Brazil, for example, to do an office building without after doing the certified Passive House designer course.
So doing the first one and then go for it.
Exactly. So
there's a big learning curve. There was a bit of talk at the workshop a couple of days ago in Darmstadt. There was a lot of discussion about the importance of bringing the certifier on board to the project early on. I think that was quite a good point, because in my mind, had just thought of the certifier as the person at the very end that you would submit all the documentation to, and then they would look at it and check it and hopefully pass it. But there was a lot of talk about, no, you need to get the certifier involved early because they can help with the process right from the beginning.
Totally true. And in true honesty, at every project, every certifier out of the more than 100 that we are having right now does a little bit of consultancy for their projects, because the hardest questions are being addressed to the certifier in the end.
Right.
So there is a fair amount of discussion between the planning team, but then if they reach a point where they do not know what is the right solution, they ask the certifier. So in order to give a right response, you need to actually look at the things in more depth and provide the support that it is needed. So
another focus for you is tools.
Yes.
Which you've been presenting on here. You've been getting more involved in some of the Passive House tools?
Yes, I am coordinating the Design PH development. It's practically a three-man team. It's me, David Edwards, who is the brains behind the software, so to say. He's the guy that is writing the code and is implementing the science behind the algorithms of the PHPP into Design PH. And we have Patrick, who actually does the admin and reseller, is the main point of contact with our partners.
Yeah.
And it's an exciting hat to wear. Because Design PH is a tool that is highly used by the Passive House designers and certifiers, and it makes the process of verifying or planning a highly energy efficient building easier. It streamlines it a bit. Of course, there are many opinions. Some might say that it is a bottleneck because it doesn't rightfully connect with the BIM software, which a lot of architects are using. Looking at the multitude of softwares that are available for planning buildings on the market right now, we still see SketchUp as a valuable platform because it's one of the cheapest available softwares to 3D softwares. It's not Beam, of course. So with the €200 license, you can start working. And DesignPH is a plugin for this platform. And it's super easy to use and learn.
And I've heard of people using SketchUp even just to build a parallel model just to get the geometry for the sake of PHPP, even if they're using ArchiCAD or something else to do their actual shop drawings.
Totally true. One of the main advantages of DesignPH is at this time the possibility to automatically calculate the shading. And whoever has done a PHPP manually would know that it takes some time to get the shading right. It takes some factors, some experience, and it generates a lot of gray hair. As you see, I still... part of my gray hair comes from calculating the shading factors in PHPP. So we are happy to have solved this issue in DesignPH, and there are so many more new things that we are working on because the ultimate target is for simple projects to enable the certification of simple projects like single-family homes through DesignPH only.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. To give this option to people just to streamline and make the passive house more approachable.
In some ways, it's quite a nice connection back to your original thoughts about geometry, because SketchUp is about the shape and the form, and now you've got these tools to push that to a pretty robust calculator that's going to answer that question that you had all those years ago.
Totally true. I think that even if we want to or not, in life we are gravitating towards things that are of interest to us, and I am lucky enough to be able to practice what I like.
Nice.
So this is one of the reasons why I stayed in Germany. And,
but you get to travel back to Romania to visit some of those passive houses?
Of course, the connection with Romania is still there and is still strong. I try to bridge the gap of knowledge as much as I can, and together with valuable partners in Romania, like the Romanian Chamber of Architects and the National Research Institute in Building Science, which have translated the Certified Passive House Designer course. We offer these courses in the continuous learning programs of engineers and architects in Romania, and I'm happy to be part of the team that offers these courses and supports people to get access to this knowledge.
Yeah, that's great.
So, this is part of giving back to the country where I'm coming from, because it was also kind of the understanding with DBU, with the Deutsche Bundesstiftung Umwelt, which
the original intent.
Is
to spread that knowledge. Do you think PHPP will go online?
I most certainly hope so, and I am advocating for this. I think it makes total sense to find another suitable platform for PHPP. Excel is wonderful, and I totally understand the benefits of having a transparent tool where you can see my input is influencing this and this and these factors in a simple way. And everybody has Microsoft Excel these days.
That's right, even Mac users.
Even Mac users. So finding a platform or a format that enables this type of transparency and accessibility to people, it's a major challenge. We have yet to come to a decision on how we could make this happen, but we are actively looking for it. So let's see what the future brings.
Absolutely. Well, some exciting challenges.